Hey there! Today we are diving into the world of teaching listening. Listening might seem easy, but it's actually pretty tricky. We will explore some smart strategies teachers use to help students become great listeners. Ready to learn? Let's get started. Listening is the hardest thing in the world. Listening is really tough because it means focusing on someone else, not yourself. It's not just hearing their words, but understanding what they mean and feeling what they feel. It's hard because it requires patience, empathy, and sometimes putting aside your own thoughts to truly understand someone else. Later, we will dive deeper into what bottom-up and top-down processes mean. But for now, just remember that successful listeners are like super puzzle solvers. They can take new information like puzzle pieces and mix it with what they already know like the picture and the puzzle packs to understand things better. It's like putting together a puzzle into your mind. Think of daily communication like a pie. Listening takes up the biggest slice because we spend a lot of time hearing and understanding what others say. It's like when you're chatting with friends or learning in class. Listening helps us connect with people and learn new things. Other parts of communication like speaking or writing are important too, but listening often takes up the most space because it's how we take in most of the information around us. Listening strategies are like tricks or plans you use to understand what someone is saying. They are really important because they make listening easier and help you remember things better. It's like having a secret code that helps you unlock what people are saying, making it easier to follow along and remember later. The top-down strategy is like starting with the big picture and using what you already know to understand new information. It's kind of like when you're reading a book, you look at the cover and the title first to get an idea of what the story might be about, right? That's a top-down. You use your background knowledge or context clues to make sense of what you are hearing or reading. So, for example, if someone says, "Let's go to the beach," you might picture sunny weather and waves crashing, even if they don't mention those details, because you know what beaches are usually like. Bottom-up listening is like putting together a puzzle, starting with the little pieces to understand the big picture. It's paying attention to the small details like individual words or sounds and piecing them together to understand the whole message. For example, if someone says cat, chase, and mouse, you might figure out they're talking about a cat chasing a mouse even if they don't say it directly. You're focusing on the small clues to understand the overall story.
Integrative approach in teaching listening. Before listening, while listening, and after listening. As future language teacher, you should ensure to provide activities that would involve students processing and decoding the text or bottom-up, and then comprehending it using one schema or top-down. I will discuss the bottom-up and top-down to the next slides. Exercises you can use which would develop students' top-down and bottom-up processing. Before that, I will first define the bottom-up and top-down. Bottom-up focus on listening for details and involve tasks that focus on understanding at a sound or word level. Tasks are intensive as they focus on looking for particular details. Top-down, on the other hand, focus on the big picture and general meaning of a listening text. Often, that starting point is to discuss the topic and then to use a gist or extensive task to listen for the overall meaning. Bottom up, point out familiar words from the oral text, identify the meaning of unfamiliar words from text listened to, locate the syllable stress from words and word stress from sentences, identify rhyming words, listen for pitch levels and intonation patterns, determine synonyms and antonyms from text listened to, identify keywords that occurred in a spoken text, find which modal verbs occurred in a spoken text, identify thoughts groups, find collocation and idioms, point out key transition in a discourse, identify grammatical relationship between key elements in sentences, determine the order in which word occurred in a utterance. Top down, write down as many words and plums related to the topic they are about as listen to. Get the idea from the test listen to. Discriminate between emotional reaction, make predictions and inferences from stories heard. Listen for specific information. Sequence information after listening to a literature piece. Follow directions. Share one's ideas based on the topic heard. Give synthesis from text heard. Summarize important points. Generate questions from topics heard. Identify conversation themes. Rewrite the listening text using their own words. Share what the speaker's purpose is and identify his or her speaking attitude. Student to ask about and or to describe other expressions they may have heard. Write a journal of their listening activities. Key stages in teaching listening. The three stages are the pre-listening stage, the while listening stage, and the post-listening stage. First, in the pre-listening stage, you are preparing the students to listen. Ideally, you should already be familiar with the listening task before class. Take a listen to the listening track and ponder this question. What is the situation? How many people are speaking? What different accent do you hear? What is the topic? Give students a simple preview of the listening text. You want to give them a little information but not too much. Ideally, you should get your students thinking they hear. Give them just a tiny bit of information such as the title, the topic, or a short sentence and allow them to predict what they are going to hear. Second, the while listening stage is where students listen and do a task. Many course book feature tasks such as listening for gist, listening for main ideas, making inference, and summarizing. Assigning a task can help students focus and develop important strategies for language learning. Some common listening tasks. Listening for gist. This means listening to get the main idea, so students should be trying to get the topic or theme of the listening track. Listening for detail. This means listening to get specific information such as how much was the meal or where was the bus going. Making inferences. Here's where students are listening to get information not explicitly stated on the track. Some examples, how do the two people feel about each other, or where do you think the man will go next? The post-listening task is the stage where you take them beyond the listening text and use it as a springboard for further language practice. Assign students to do a related speaking activity. For example, if students heard a conversation between two people at a party, ask them to reproduce the conversation in a different setting. Overall, these three stages are a reliable format for doing a listening activity in class. A listening lesson is made up of three stages, regardless of the framework you use. A listening lesson consists of tasks before students listen to the passage, tasks to complete while they listen to the passage, and activities that you after the listening. Format of a listening lesson. Teachers have to provide activities that supplement comprehension goals with session goals. Successful listeners are those that can use both bottom-up and top-down processes. Thus, teaching learning activities should provide students the opportunity to practice both. The three key stages in listening in designing listening lesson that ensures an interactive process approach in teaching listening. In teaching language, the pre-listening phase is essential for getting students ready to participate in listening activities. First, by determining language comprehension needs, teacher may make sure that the activities they provide fit the skill level of each student. Students are more responsive to the listening material when their attention is piqued, as this creates a good atmosphere and motivates them. Placing material in its proper context guarantees relevance and facilitates understanding by drawing on students' past knowledge. Last but not the least, having well-defined objectives aids students in concentrating on particular listening objectives such as information gathering, summarizing, or extensive listening. All things considered, these techniques foster an atmosphere that is favorable to effective listening comprehension. During the listening phase, students may require numerous repeats to understand the material, particularly with tailored audio examinations. Guided listening exercise such as selective listening and note-taking scaffolds improve comprehension by emphasizing specific listening skills like gaze comprehension and sequencing. Providing thinking space gives students time to analyze and reflect on the listening activity, which promotes deeper knowledge and engagement. Overall, these tactics help to improve listening comprehension by providing assistance, structure, and opportunity for reflection throughout the listening experience. In the post-listening step, students must reply to the text by sharing their responses and views. This encourages involvement and deeper grasp of the topic. Analyzing the text linguistic aspects reinforces language acquisition by focusing on the specific language forms and structures. Furthermore, incorporating speaking and writing assignments lets students to apply what they have learned receptively in a practical way, fostering creativity and additional language practice. Overall, these activities improve comprehension, language analysis, and production skills, allowing for a more comprehensive language learning experience.
Pre-listening activities are essential in preparing students for a successful listening experience by identifying vocabulary needs, activating interest and motivation, providing context, and setting the listening purpose. Students are better equipped to comprehend, engage with, and derive maximum benefit from the listening activity. The while listening phase of a listening activity focuses on engaging students with the listening material, and it's essential for enhancing comprehension, maintaining engagement, for fostering critical thinking, supporting language processing, and building students' confidence in their listening abilities. So post-listening activities are designed to consolidate and extend students' understanding of the listening material and promoting reflection and personalization. So these activities enhances students' overall language proficiency and deepen their engagement with the listening materials. So in identifying vocabulary comprehension needs is a crucial in teaching and listening because vocabulary plays a significant role in understanding spoken language. Identifying vocabulary comprehension needs will help to enhance comprehension and improving a listening skills of the students. So we have here some examples like the mid maps. So have students generate ideas and create associations around a central idea or topic. So this helps the students to organize their thoughts and make connections between different concepts related to the listening activity. We also have the Ask Me. So this activity allows the teacher to check for understanding and help student practice using the vocabulary. So they can also use the list of words during the listening activity and mark of the ones they hear in the passage. We also have here the gap fill. So this activity will test their understanding of the context and vocabulary usage while providing an opportunity for personalization. All of these 5 activities such as word web, mind maps, ask me, words in the board, and gap fill aims to engage students, active their prior knowledge, and enhance their understanding and retention of vocabulary and concept related to listening activity. Next is activating interest. Activating interest is an important aspect of teaching and learning because when the students are interested and engaged in the topic or activity, they are more likely to be motivated, attentive, and actively participate in the discussions. So we have here some example. Brain walking. Put posters around the classroom and ask the students to move around and visit each poster. After looking at the poster, the students will discuss what comes to their mind or share their thoughts with a partner or a small group. So brain walking activity encourage movement and exploration. Solve the puzzle. Students are given puzzle pieces of a picture related to the listening passage. So this activity helped to enhance the collaboration and communication of the students. And it gives the students the opportunity to discuss their ideas and encourage them to communicate. Next is sing along. So the teacher provides certain lines, expressions, or words from the listening text and asks volunteers to sing a song containing those words or expressions. So this activity combines music and language to engage students and make the learning experience more enjoyable. WH questions. Students are given a topic and are asked to generate as many questions as they can within a given time frame. For example, 2 minutes. So this activity promotes curiosity and challenge the critical thinking of the students. This will help to develop language production. This activities aims to activate students' interest, engage them in the learning process, and encourage active participation and critical thinking. So by incorporating interactive and creative elements, teachers can create a dynamic and stimulating classroom environment that enhances students' motivation and understanding of the listening material. Next is putting in context. So make up a story. In this activity, students are provided with pictures and asked them to create a story based on what they know. So by using their imagination and prior knowledge, students can arrange the pictures in a logical order to construct a narrative. So this activity promotes creativity, critical thinking, and storytelling skills. Next is let's draw. So students are given a topic related to the listening text and ask them to draw something that represents it, incorporating as many details as possible. So this activity encourages visual representation, observation skills, and creativity. Students can also share their drawings with others, fostering a sense of pride and engagement. Exploring pictures. Pictures related to the listening topic are posted on the wall, and students are given the opportunity to view each picture and write their reactions or thoughts about them. So this activity promotes visual analysis, critical thinking, and personal reflection. It allows students to express their own opinions and interpretation of the visual content. So all of these 5 activities are helpful because they engage students by incorporating creative and interactive elements into the learning process. And also, these activities help to create a dynamic and engaged learning environment, promoting active participation, critical thinking, creativity, and deeper understanding of the listening material. We also have here setting the purpose. So when the purpose is set, students have a clear understanding of what they are working towards and why it is important. So it promotes meaningful learning, goal setting, and self-reflection. And it guides instructional planning and supports assessment and feedbacks. Here are some examples, and first is brainstorming. It engages students in a discussion about the topic and encourage them to generate headings or categories to organize their notes while listening. So this activity helps students understand the specific task they will be undertaking during the listening activity and prepare them to actively engage with the content. Listening for pleasure. Inform students of the title of the listening text and ask them to list down the interesting things they expect to learn or discover from the listening activity. So this activity encourages students to anticipate and engage with the content in a way that piques their curiosity and creates a sense of enjoyment. All of these activities are helpful to students because it will help the students organize their thoughts and expectations, providing a framework for effective note-taking and comprehension, and engage students in active participation and reflection, promoting a deeper understanding and connection to the listening materials. Next is provide opportunity for students to re-listen. So providing students the opportunity to re-listen to the listening material enhances comprehension, language acquisition. So it helps students to identify and correct mistakes or misunderstandings, encourages active engagement and reflection, and it also improves attention to detail and support differentiated learnings. So the examples are, let me read it first. So this strategy involves allowing the students to read the transcript of the listening material before engaging them into the listening activity. So by reading the transcript, students familiarize themselves with the vocabulary, sentences, structures, and overall content of the listening text. So this can help build comprehension and confidence before the listening without the script. Replay the recording. For individual listening tasks, students are given the opportunity to replay the audio recording, especially when listening to specific details. So this allows students to listen again and focus on a specific section or details they may have missed during the initial listening. So it promotes accuracy and through comprehension of the listening materials. So these activities such as let me read and replay the recording are helpful activities because they develop listening skills by focusing on specific information, details, or vocabulary during the listening activity. And it provides opportunities for students to review and reinforce their understanding by replaying the audio recordings. So next is promoting guided listening and scaffolding note-taking. Promoting guided listening and scaffolding note-taking involves providing support and structure to help students effectively listen and take notes during the listening activity. So this approach aims to enhance comprehension, retention, and engagement. So the examples are graphic organizers. Students are given a blank graphic organizer that summarizes the information in the text under headings. So they listen to the text and fill in keywords they hear in the correct places. So this strategy helps students visually organize and summarize information, making it easier to comprehend and retain key details from the listening text. Look for the meaning. Students are provided with list of words before listening. So they read the list and are instructed to write down words that have the same meaning as they hear them in the audio track. This activity encourages students to actively listen for synonyms or words with similar meanings, enhancing vocabulary, understanding, and retention. All of these strategies are helpful because they foster collaboration and discussion, as students may share and compare their notes or findings with peers and develop specific listening skills, such as identifying keywords, understanding grammatical forms, and recognizing synonyms or similar meanings. Next is responding to text. So the examples are: first, true or false. This strategy involves preparing a series of statements related to the listening materials and asking students to determine whether each statement is true or false. So this activity tests students' comprehension of the content and their ability to identify accurate information, and it encourages critical thinking and careful listening. Next example is open questions. Students are asked the open-ended question related to the listening materials. So this allows them to provide detailed and thoughtful responses, encouraging them to express their understandings, opinions, and interpretations. So open question promotes critical thinking, communication skills, and deeper engagement with the content. These strategies are helpful because it provides opportunities for assessment, critical thinking, communication, inferential thinking, and reflection. And they enhance students' comprehension, analytical skills, and engagement with the listening materials. Analyzing linguistic features of the text. So analyzing linguistic features of the text involves examining and studying the language elements and structure used in the text. It focuses on understanding the grammar, vocabulary, syntax, and discourse feature employed in the written or spoken language. Reviewing the transcript. After the listening activity, students are provided with the transcript of the audio and ask them to identify which part they did or didn't understand. They write down the sentences or phrases they found challenging, allowing the teacher to provide further explanation or clarification. And this activity promotes reflection, self-assessment, and targeted language support. Synonyms and antonyms. So students identifies vocabulary words from the listening script and their synonym and antonyms. And this activity expands students' vocabulary, deepen their understanding of word meanings, and enhances their ability to make conceptions between words. It promotes critical thinking, language analysis, and vocabulary development. All of these activities help students deepen their understanding of the listening material, develop language skills, provide targeted support, assess comprehension, and promote active engagement. So they contribute to the comprehensive and effective language learning experiences. Here are some free listening tests and exercises websites. First is Talk English. You can access for free listening lessons from different levels. Second is ESL Lounge. You can also try this website, which offers different kinds of comprehension exercises after each listening task. Next is Allo. Teachers and students can access lessons for beginners, intermediate, and advanced learners. And lastly, TED-Ed. You can look for relevant content to use as viewing and listening text.
So, that's all about listening strategies. Remember, when you're using top-down or bottom-up strategies, or even a mix of both, the key is to keep practicing. The more you listen and use these strategies, the better you will become at understanding and remembering what you hear. So keep your ears open and happy listening!